Hi, welcome to this tutorial. On this tutorial, we will be seeing 2.5D and clean plates. But first, we need to get started on the definitions of what is 2.5D, what is required, and how cleans work, and what are important in this process. So on this series of tutorials, we're going to start breaking out all those elements. Let's get started. So first of all, this is the overview that we're going to be seeing on this series. First of all, we have the 2.5D, how we're setting up layers, photo, foreground, background, and midground inside of After Effects. We're going to give you a small introduction on 3D space inside again of After Effects, setting an animator on camera and using the puppet tool. As well, clean plates are easier to do in Photoshop, so we're going to give you a small introduction on how to do the clean plates in Photoshop. So first of all, 2.5D is needed to, it's actually derived by an element called parallax. And what's parallax? Parallax effect is the motion between the foreground and distant background elements. If the viewpoint pans quickly from side to side, the closest objects appear to move faster than those far away. In this case, we can see that the objects that are closer to the camera are moving way faster than the objects that are on the far end. Or, for example, the tree. The tree feels like it's going slower too. So another way to explain this is when you're looking through a window on a moving car, you can get probably something like this. You see, your mountains are kind of like barely moving, and you have all these trees moving faster in the foreground. That's how the parallax effect is achieved. So, understanding this motion is essential for beginners and newcomers to VFX. Parallax shows depth, weight and motion, object placements, and 3D space all coming together. Experimenting and learning about these principles lead to strong design work going forward. In this case, we have an example. Here's the original picture, and this is the final product after they apply the 2.5D. If you can notice, the character that is here in the far end, he looks as moving slower compared with the one that is closer to the camera or in the foreground, or the one that is in the mid background. So they ended up doing some extra treatment on this, like color correction and some particle effects. But you can see how we can say, okay, this person is on the background, this one is in the midground, and this one is on the foreground, because the way that the parallax is achieving the depth. Okay? So we also need to start talking about clean plates. Clean plate usually refers to a shot of the background without the main subject or subjects that you want to remove or alter in the shot. In this case, this is the image that we're going to be working on. So, as you can see, we have to pretty much remove what is the neck of the giraffe, her body, and her legs from our midground and from our background. And here is the example of how it looks finished. Here is our background. It doesn't have the neck and the head anymore. As well, the fence from the midground is already gone, and all the sticks. We also have our midground. This is going to be our midground. You see that it doesn't have the body of the giraffe, neither the legs or the foreground element that we're going to be using. In this case, these rocks are a perfect example of what is closer to the camera. So we're going to be using as a foreground element. And of course, we have to separate also our giraffe because we're going to be integrating some animation on it. So again, this is a picture, and this is a small representation, color representation of how it's separated. This is the background again. This is our main element. There's our giraffe. Our midground, there's all this purple color here, and our foreground. So as well, I have some example here, a picture, how it looks already when we create depth. So we ended up pushing our layers into the seed depth or the Z-axis here to create this kind of like uneven. They're not in the same plane anymore, so we are creating what is going to be the far part, the mid part, including the giraffe, and our foreground. So, and here's how you're going to be seeing it in After Effects. This is a representation of your camera. It's really rough, but it works. Then you have your foreground. Your foreground is the one that's going to be closer to the camera, so as you can see the relationship here, it looks closer. Then you have your midground element, the main one, and then your midground as well. Your background is the one that's far away. You can see this is a representation. There's also layers. And when we explore the 3D environment in After Effects, like any other 3D software, it's going to start giving us these handles that tell us, okay, this is your y-axis and this is your x-axis, but now you have your z-axis, and it's the one that's going to help you creating the depth or pushing your layers far away from the camera in simple words. So let's get started. Let's go into our clean play process and how to create them, since it's one of the first things that you have to do before you do anything else. So let's go over that.